All right, you maniacs, I'm back to yell at you again. This time about this whole 2020 hindsight revisionist history thing with Josh Allen. I get it. The guy's awesome. I get it. Darnold sucks. I get it. I do get it. That's more a product of the Jets' luck than it is a bad decision, because unless you're really going to be ridiculously unfair and start talking about things that should have happened, could have happened, there's no way the Jets were going to pick Josh Allen, okay? It's only 4 years ago, so I can't even tell you you may be too young to remember. No, it's 4 years ago. I mean, most of you, at worst, what were you, 12, where you were 8 and don't remember it? Then you have no business talking about this anyway, all right? Josh Allen was not the pick for the Jets, number one, okay? He was not the pick for the Jets, and I remember a few of you guys saying that Josh Allen is the guy you wanted, but a majority of the people wanted nothing to do with him. A majority, huge majority, okay? Sam Darnold was the consensus number one quarterback that year. Baker Mayfield came on late. Cleveland ended up taking him kind of as a surprise. I mean, it came out a couple of days before the draft that that's what they were thinking of doing, and I don't think too many of us believed it until they actually took him. So Sam Darnold was the guy most people were looking at. There's all kinds of rumors that the Jets had traded up in hopes that they would get Baker Mayfield, and then Darnold fell in their laps, and then you know the rest from there. So Darnold was the guy that year. Okay, he was the consensus number one guy, and if not the number one, he was the guy that nobody was shocked that the Jets took. Nobody. Okay, Josh Allen was looked at as a guy with a gun for an arm and a really big dude, and that was really it. He was completely raw. He was as inaccurate could possibly be. He was not the guy the Jets were going to pick. Okay, and looking back now and saying, "Oh, this is another Marino situation." Please, now you're showing how young you are. If you think the Josh Allen and Sam Darnold comparison is like Marino and O'Brien, it's not even close. The only difference, the only similarity, I should say, is that the Jets picked a guy that turned out to be worse than the guy they didn't pick. That's it. And I know that is kind of the basis of your argument, but it's a silly argument that doesn't hold any basis in reality. Marino, the Jets actually should have picked. They decided not to. A bunch of teams decided not to because his stock fell at the draft because he had a knee problem and because of alleged drug use in college, and they were worried about his personal life, his character. Okay. It was the opposite. Everybody wanted Marino, but they let him drop. Marino was supremely talented, as you can see. And if you're too young to remember him, go look up his stats. They don't compare to the guys today because it's a different world. But look at his stats compared to the guys he was playing against back then. Marino was ridiculous, and the Jets made a huge mistake not taking him. At the end of the day, Ken O'Brien turned out to be a pretty good quarterback. So that's another reason this is not even a good comparison. Ken O'Brien was very good. He wasn't great. He never got the Jets over the top, but he was the Jets starting quarterback for 8 or 9 years, and they were good for half of those years maybe. So that was a serious mistake on the Jets' part. Stupid move. They ended up getting lucky and having a halfway decent guy anyway, but the guy who they let get away just tortured them for years. This situation here, the guy is going to torture them for many years, but nobody's looking at it as the guy that got away, unless you're just being unfair and looking at a situation that didn't exist, because the Jets weren't taking Josh Allen at 3 no matter what. And the only people who have any right to say anything about what the Jets should have done and how stupid they are for not doing it are the ones who wanted Allen in the first place, of which I am telling you there were not many. It's like the people who were at the Monday Night Miracle, 80,000 people in the stadium, 70,000, whatever it was. There were 10,000 left, and everybody tells you they were there. No, I was there, and I was one of the people who stayed. And at the end, there were about 10,000 people left in the stadium, and it had to be 8,000 of them were Miami fans. So the 30, 40, 50,000 of you who say you were there, yeah, you were probably there, and you left in the early fourth quarter like everyone else. So this is what that's like. Oh, I wanted Josh Allen. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Chances are you did not want Josh Allen, and the Jets should not have picked Josh Allen. Just because it turned out that he turned into a great quarterback doesn't mean they should have picked him. And on top of all of that, the most important reason that you can't sit here and say the Jets should have got Josh Allen is that he never, And I repeat, never. And I cannot even stress enough how many negative words like no, never, not possible, whatever. No possibility Josh Allen would be what he is now if he was with the Jets. None. Read my lips. None. Okay? There's no chance Josh Allen would be what he is now. Todd Bowles would not have developed him in his 1 year. Googly Eyes Gase wasn't going to develop him. There's no way. This guy came into the league raw, needed to be developed, needed patience. The fans would have tortured him in 2018. Absolutely tortured him. Okay? He had a terrible season with the Bills. And yes, I know there's all these comparisons with Zach. I'm not making that comparison at all. This is not about Zach Wilson. Okay. Josh Allen was terrible in his first year, and the Bills stuck with him. They developed him. They gave him the talent he needs around him. They gave him a game plan that he could use, and now the guy's a superstar. But that would not have happened with the Jets. If you think it would have, then you are out of your mind, and you should probably go get your head examined, and maybe examine what you do in your life and see if you always try and act like you thought or did a certain thing back then when you didn't. Like, just accept reality. Accept that you're just like everybody else, and you assumed that Josh Allen was not going to be good or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, even if he was the pick and should have been the pick, he would not have developed here either way. So stop. Get on with it. Move on to something else. Go find something else to look back at and use 2020 hindsight. But get off of this, because not only should the Jets not have picked him, he wasn't going to be what he is now anyway. All right, I'm out. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.